So what's up, homies? Internet friends out there. This is Coach Rocky coming at you with some smart cardio. We've been talking quite a bit lately about metabolic flexibility, how your diet can help you to become more of a fat-burning machine. But what we're going to talk about today is how you can turn your cardio into a fat-burning machine as well. Okay, so you have these two specific things, and what you're going to need for this is, well, nothing right now, just your ears and your eyes to listen. But ultimately, what's going to help a lot for this is something to track your heart rate, because what we're going to look for is a particular switch. This switch is a crossover. This crossover is going to be from where you go from burning primarily fat to burning primarily carbohydrates. We want to find that, and what we're going to use is heart rate. Okay, so when we find that trigger, and I'm going to teach you how, that's what we're going to try to manipulate. So let's just say your aerobic threshold, the ability for your body to burn primarily fats as a fuel source. It goes from fats first, when at like low range, when you're just standing, primarily fat burning. Okay. After that, let me turn this on Do Not Disturb here for a second. Excuse me for just a moment, y'all. So primarily fat burning when you're in recovery, when you're just working, when you're doing whatever. Okay. At a certain point, fat takes too long for the body to process, and it needs something quicker. So it needs primarily carbohydrates. So if you want to burn fat better, riddle me this: would it not be more effective if we pushed that marker up? Instead of 140 beats per minute, you're now burning fat up until 145 beats a minute. Cool. Now from 145, maybe a little bit more of these intervals that I'm about to teach you, and all of a sudden you move up to 150 beats per minute. Okay, this is your ability to use your aerobic capacity much higher. Okay, so a little bit of science. So put your propeller hats on. I'm gonna erase this lesson. This was a good lesson too. Boundaries. None of this is really gonna matter if you don't have boundaries, because you're never gonna get your cardio in the first place. You're not gonna set your timer for 12:15 every Friday to listen to me talk to you about something important, and then you're not gonna go outside and run and do your intervals. So boundaries are great, but this is not a boundary conversation today. Today we are talking, propeller hats on, ventilatory threshold 1. You have two of these: ventilatory threshold 1, ventilatory threshold 2. From these, you create your zones. Okay, you've probably seen before, if you have like an Apple Watch or something, zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4. Okay, if you're like training for like a race right now, what you want to do is really hone in on that zone 3, zone 4. Okay. Right now, though, as we're just trying to teach you how to be a better fat-burning machine for your cardio, smarter cardio, I want to focus on VT1. VT1, ventilatory threshold 1. So, key word number 1, VT1, okay? Also known as your aerobic threshold, okay? How high, what the threshold is from you going from aerobic to anaerobic. Anaerobic means without oxygen. Aerobic means with oxygen. It takes oxygen to burn fat. Starting to connect some dots right now. So we want to increase your body's capacity to use oxygen and therefore burn fat. Whoa, amazing. So what we got here is, I'm gonna draw this line, okay? When I'm with you in person, I'm going to be doing 2 different field tests, okay? These field tests are going to give us this marker here, okay? This is going to be a heart rate. That heart rate is determined by these 2 tests, and that's going to tell us where we are currently stopping from going fat burning to switching over to primarily carbohydrates. Okay, that's the first part we want to do. We want to accomplish that and figure that out. From that, we will have your zone 1 and your zone 2. Cardio zone 1, cardio zone 2. Primarily burning fat, primarily burning carbohydrates. Got it? Still with me? Easy, Rocky. That's easy. I understand that. So number 1, new key term, talk test. Okay, talk test. In layman's terms, when it becomes too challenging to complete a sentence, you're not getting enough oxygen, and therefore you're switching over, you have switched over from fat to carbohydrates. Okay, so take the Pledge of Allegiance, for example. Many a times I have been with a client, and if we don't have a book or something for them to read so that they can just have consistent talking as we're increasing the speed and therefore increasing their heart rate, then I'll just, a Pledge of Allegiance. You know it by heart. Say it over and over again. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Now, as soon as that dialogue becomes choppy, so I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. See, I have to breathe throughout that. I have to take a breath. Therefore, I'm not getting enough oxygen to complete the sentence. There will be a trigger. There will be a marker at some point in there. Let's say it's 125 beats per minute, okay? So we've marked at 125, it became too challenging for you to complete the sentence. So, therefore, at 125, this field test says that you've crossed over from fat to carbohydrates. Okay, that's one. If you just run with one, go with that one. But the next term that we're going to teach you is called a between the breath count. In short, BBC. Between the breath count, okay? So, what you do with this, find a baseline. Jump on a cardio piece of equipment. Go don't even go yet. Just stand there. And we're going to go regular breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Again, find what that is. I got to 19 as fast as I could go. To make it more valid, do it on a stopwatch. So you would click start, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, okay? And click end. On that 19, maybe that was actually like 4.3 seconds, okay? Once you have that, we're gonna look for 70% of that, okay? So now go in your calculator. If you have, if it was 4.3 seconds times 0.7, that's what we're looking for, okay? That crossover, that's 70%. Okay, you can also take that 19 if you're really good at keeping the pace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, keeping whatever same pace you had, and then say, okay, well at 19 and 70% of that, whatever, you do the math. I'm not the mathematician here, like 14 or 13 or something like that. So what we're looking for is if I'm monitoring this and you're on the treadmill, you've got your heart rate monitor on, and you're saying the Pledge of Allegiance over and over again, or reading a book so I can hear for consistent dialogue. Okay. As soon as I start hearing it kind of getting challenging, I'm going to continue asking you, okay, let's actually keep moving, and then hit me with a between the breath count. So you'll be going and going, and then you'll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And then I will be on the stopwatch looking for this, okay? This one's a little bit more technical, so I'm including it in here because field tests, by default, are not the perfect answer. If you want the perfect answer for this, you're going to strap up to an oxygen mask as you're on a treadmill and increase until we actually find the point in which more oxygen exchange changes, okay? So this is how you can do this in person, okay? Now you know. If you want to actually do it, just reach out, and we'll customize it for you, okay? We'll do it together. Okay, but those are the two tests that you could use to find this. Once you found this, let's say you read it at 125 talk test, and you got a 127 beats per minute between the breath count test. We're going to take the average of those. So actually, your VT1 is 126. You guys still with me? I know you are. Good. Yeah. Color hats are on. We got this. So now from here, we have your zone 1 and your zone 2. Let's approximate here. It's 10 to 15 beats. Okay? That's really what we're going to kind of call this. So we're going to say 110. And then we're going to go all the way up to 140. Might be a little bit high, but whatever. It's different for everybody, right? Okay, we're not going to worry about past that at this point. Right now, we're just focused here. But now for this, zone 1, zone 2. You have what you need here to set up your smart intervals at this point. What we're going to do now is I would then write you a 5-week cardio interval program. It's going to be something to the effect of 3 minutes here, 3 minutes here, times 3. So you have 6, 12, 18 minutes. 18 minutes of cardio is all I'd require you to do in week 1. Okay, but it's going to be 3 minutes here in zone 1, and you're going to pick it up and move to zone 2 for 3 minutes. Okay, so week 2, I might have you 2.5 minutes and 3 minutes times 3. Okay, so we've lowered the time that you get to rest over here, and we're increasing this. The goal of this, remember, is to bump up this middle line. Okay, so we'll keep going. 2.5 minutes, zone 1, and then something like 3.5 minutes, zone 2. But so you get the idea. As you continue to create this, now maybe we'll go down to 2 minutes, and maybe we'll really kind of say, well, 3.5 minutes, but now we're going to go 4 intervals. Okay, and then ultimately something like, okay, 2 minutes of recovery in zone 1, and then like 4 minutes over there in zone 2 times 4. Okay, but ultimately 8 minutes times 4, 8, 16, 24, 36? Yeah, 36, 4 minutes, 4 minutes. Is that right? No, 26. 4, 8, 16, 24, 36. Yeah. 8, 4, yeah. Oh, no, it's 6. 6 times 4, 24. I was like, that seems a little high. 24 minutes. At the most, all I'm asking you to do is 24 minutes of smart cardio, okay? But each week, this changes, okay? So, simple enough. I just kind of just did like the technical science version of it. But if you take away nothing more, then really, hopefully you gathered that if you can start to find out at what point, yes, you might be like that person talking to yourself in the gym, but really, it's like what you're finding is, okay, it's challenging for me to start to complete a sentence at this point. I must be crossing over from primarily fats to primarily carbohydrates. Play in that range. If you don't want to do all of this setup and really kind of like be as technical and nerdy about it, play in this range. Grow your body's capacity to burn fat by really getting curious about the crossover point and then spending a little bit more time bumping up, bumping up, bumping up. Okay, but coming back down is important too. Heart works both ways, right? We don't want to just have a strong heart that can beat harder and burn fat. We want the recovery heart rate to be equally as strong. Okay, but do this, like apply this even just to like 2 days of your cardio routine. So maybe you got strength training Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Go do your cardio, and if you hate cardio, then cool. All I'm asking you to do is like 9 minutes, 12 minutes, 24 minutes tops. Okay, and that's by like week 5. So take all that into consideration next time you jump on a treadmill, go for a run, go for a hike, jump on a Stairmaster, elliptical, walk your child down the street in a stroller, whatever you do to get your heart rate up. Sweat sessions are important for many things, your heart included. Hopefully this helps you. This has been your Tribal Council meeting for February the 10th. Now, I expect to hear how all of y'all are thriving out there. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Tribal Council meeting. Aloha.